What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. It had been pretty well publicized that Disney was beginning to lay off 7,000 employees, but I don't think there was a one of us who thought that it might be Marvel Entertainment chairman Ike Perlmutter. And you know, it could have been really different for Ike. He could have been remembered as the guy who helped save Marvel from bankruptcy in the 90s and ultimately steered the company into Disney's arms where Marvel Studios could flourish, but instead will be remembered as the guy who wanted to fire Kevin Feige. Ultimately, that was stopped by then CEO Bob Iger, and now in the ultimate turn of events after being demoted over the last decade or so, no longer a part of the Marvel movies and hasn't been since 2015, he eventually got fired himself. We're going to break down exactly who Ike Perlmutter was, his legacy, and what happened over at Marvel Studios. Crazy to think that at one point, Kevin Feige was reporting to him, and now he's the latest head to roll in the major layoffs over at the Mouse House. We're breaking it all down, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews, to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below that will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway, which is literally just over a month away for Guardians of the Galaxy. Again, all you got to do be a sub, leave a comment, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this is breaking in the last hour, reported by the New York Times. Quote, Isaac Perlmutter, the famously frugal Marvel Entertainment chairman who unsuccessfully worked to shake up the Walt Disney Company's board in the past year, has been laid off as part of a cost-cutting campaign. Disney confirmed the move that Mr. Perlmutter, 80, was told by phone on Wednesday that Marvel Entertainment, a small division centered around consumer products run separately from Marvel Studios, was redundant and would be folded into larger Disney business units, according to two Disney executives briefed on the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the sensitive personal matter. On Monday, Disney started to eliminate 7,000 jobs, about 4% of its global total, as part of a $5.5 billion in cuts intended to improve Disney's financial results and positioning the company for streaming field growth. Mr. Perlmutter, known as Ike, could not be immediately reached for comment. Now, they go on to explain exactly who Ike Perlmutter was and what he meant to Marvel. Ike Perlmutter was the guy who sold Marvel to Disney back in 2009 for $4 billion. He gained control of the superhero company in the late 90s and greatly expanded its merchandising business by licensing properties like X-Men and Spider-Man to movie studios in Fox and Sony respectively. So he's the guy who basically was working to save them during their huge bankrupt crisis during the 90s and eventually was the one who sealed the deal with Disney. But it's when it came to making the movies at Disney that Ike sort of became an outcast and maybe what you could call a villain, pun totally intended, inside of the company. He famously was always trying to control costs, as at the time, Kevin Feige, and during the initial part of Marvel Studios' existence at Disney, was always answering to him. There were famous quotes about how he didn't want Civil War to be the Avengers movie that it was, wanted to cut all of those characters and not spend the money. Yeah, that's right. If it were up to Ike Perlmutter, we would not have seen Spider-Man in Civil War. And also, that famously came to a head during the first Doctor Strange film, where Mr. Perlmutter went to the now CEO Bob Iger, who was also the CEO at the time, and tried to have Kevin Feige fired over Doctor Strange 1. And we all know how that played out. It in fact backfired on Ike Perlmutter. He ended up running out the Inhumans at TV instead of the big screen with Marvel Studios. I know how well that did. And of course, Kevin Feige went on to become president instead, and we eventually got Avengers, Infinity War, and Secret War. The basic deal here is that Ike Perlmutter always wanted to cut costs in favor of profit, as this article remarks, and instead he wound up being demoted to the point where he was basically chairman of Marvel Entertainment that was overseeing about $40 to $60 million a year total. That's basically a fourth or a third of one Marvel movie's budget, and when you add in all the TV shows as well, was just overseeing a fraction of what was going on. That's why when they say in this article that his whole Marvel Entertainment had been redundant, it had been redundant for some time. Arguably, they really just kept him on because he was a legacy name, because of what he had done for the Marvel community and for the company over the last 30 years. They put him in charge of a small company and basically tucked him away, and then today said, hey, we're not even going to do that anymore. So really, this isn't the same change as the Victoria Alonso firing, where she was a top president and in the workings of Marvel Studios. This was a guy who had been demoted like Office Space all the way to the basement basically anyway, and really was just making annoying comments about his stapler. I gotta be honest with you guys, I am optimistic about all these changes that are going on behind the scenes at Marvel Studios. I think for any of us who have been in the same job for a long time or the same relationship, things either grow in a successful way to where everybody is as strong as they've ever been working together and being together, or they don't. And I think in most cases, when you look at marriages, bands, any group of people, over time, people just change. It's a natural progression of things. I think it's just the way things go. And when people have done something or the same thing for so long, they naturally tend to lose interest or find that they're now interested in new or different things. So there's compounding factors here for why all of this is happening with all of these old heads at Marvel Studios, but it's for the best because presumably the people who are going to fill in behind them, while might not be the most experienced in the exact new position they'll be in, are probably going to be promoted eternally, either from Disney and Marvel or from the industry. They're going to have some experience, whether or not it's in the same position they'll be in now once they're promoted, but still, they're going to want to be there. It will be something new for them, and probably not beholden to the mistakes that are being made now by some of these old executives who apparently have just lost interest. I don't really think there's any other way to say it. And, it really sounds like Bob Chapek, as he was CEO, was a lot more like Ike Perlmutter, just wanting to make sure that all the profits were maximized without worrying about the quality of the product. At least while we have Bob Iger back, it's going to flip-flop through what I hope is a returning to the golden age of Marvel in 2024 and 2025. Of course, yet to be seen, but a new CEO for Disney is on the horizon, and we better hope that Bob Iger and the rest of his team get it right. Whoever that new CEO is going to be, whoever they're deciding to bring along now as the candidates for that, they have got to get it right, or it will just be more of the same if they put someone like Ike Perlmutter or Bob Chapek back in the top seat. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below. As always, I'm all ears. I know for a lot of you who know who Ike Perlmutter is, this may come as a shock, and it was also a shock to find out that he's doing so little for them now. Anyway, I'm all ears as always. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Okay, we are still giving away a PlayStation 5, and we're going to continue to do so here at the channel, but instead of subscriber milestones, and especially because YouTube's algorithm has been, I don't know what, as of late, we're just going to give them out to coincide with Marvel movie releases, which happen a lot more stably throughout the year. The next one is Guardians of the Galaxy. We're just over a month away. All you need to do to be entered to win or for any of the future giveaways at the channel will all be the same. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will always be announced at the end of videos, live with the comment that wins shown on screen and with my voice. So while it feels like we've had a reprieve here shortly of all of these spam comments and bots in the channel, I haven't seen them for a couple of weeks after almost a year straight, always remember that no YouTuber will ever ask you to contact them on a third-party app like Telegram or WhatsApp. No YouTuber, myself included, will ever ask you to pay for shipping. Please be safe and just report those comments if you should see them. My name is Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name Allfires. And while I would sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, I've got a new EP coming out in less than a month on April 18th. I really appreciate you checking this channel out. Thanks for watching the video. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.